Hi, this is Travis, and I'm bringing you a new app called MTG X-Ray. It's a bit of an experiment, and I hope it brings you a little happiness. It will help you scientifically score your deck, smooth your mana, and give you some brew suggestions. So let's get into it. I'll show you how I first use it on a sealed pool, and then I will move to constructed. So let's say you're playing a league, you've got your deck put together, and you just kind of want to get a realistic version of how well you'll score out. So curve out. So I'm going to push the score button, and I can see that I'm going to curve out 63% of my mana will be utilized in a game. I know a good deck build usually tops about 70%, so I'll probably keep uh, building on that sealed league just a little bit more. But let's say I'm happy with it, and I want to decide if my mana math is correct. Now, of course, there's a simple mana math button. You can push that. It's probably very similar to what you get to MTGO, but there's a more complex way to figure that out that I believe in a lot more. So let's see, we're playing limited. It's 40 cards. You want to give it a certain amount of time to really think about the mana math. For speed of this video, I'll just leave it at 1 minute. And basically, I push the mana button. That begins to tune my mana by playing thousands of games and trying all the different combos it can think of. Now, just to give you a quick update what it's doing, it stripped out all the basic lands, gave itself a pile of 20 something of all those lands. It left in the stone quarry. Any deck decisions you make besides non-basic lands, those stay in your deck. So it's going to think about that. I'm just going to pause it, let it come back. Okay, so it just did 37,000 games of various combinations, and it's feeling very solid that this is some good mana math. You could let it run longer if you want. So there you go. We've got a score for the deck. We double checked our mana math, and let me give you another example of what I do with my sealed pool. So let's say you have just a blank, your whole sealed pool that you've exported from MTGO, or maybe a paper match that you came home from. And you say, you know what? I was thinking, what would have happened if I played black? I mean, those are some very good black cards, and then put in Neckbreaker. And just to show you up here, basically what I've said is I decided to go red-black, and everything in the sideboard below is fair game. That's where your think settings come into play. You know, for a sealed pull, I'd at least give it 5 minutes. But for the speed of this, I'm just going to hit the think button. And what it will do is it'll start to build around the deck decisions you've already made and fill in the holes, the other stuff that you didn't decide on. And so you told it red-black. Yeah, it'll get rid of that stone quarry. It'll realize in a moment that's not adding to your efficiency once it gets past playing a few games, and it'll get down to business and build you a nice curve. It's not that we have that built in, it's just scientifically MTG X-Ray is always thinking about the fundamental mana base first. It doesn't understand the synergy between the pirates, for instance, but it understands a good curve. So I'll pause this and we'll come right back. Okay, so there you go. It's solved around your red-black. Let's do a score here. That's a decent curve. I've seen better. But yeah, so let's take one more scenario. Let's say you want to go either do a little net decking from a top 8, or even more fun, not affiliated with MTG Goldfish, but who doesn't like Saffron Olive's budget deck? So let's say you're looking through his latest token deck and you say, you know, I got most of these non-budget cards. So you download that, you get it into your notepad, or and then you paste it into here, and you just hit update. So that's how easy it is to get the deck in. So it says token deck, his latest token deck. And so you can, let's say you want to make some changes. I mean, I'm not a better brewer than Seth, but I can't help myself but to want to brew. Let's say, let's say that you're going to question how many of the Jungle Borns to put in, and you've got several more in your deck box. And you're like, that's a good curve filler. And let's say you're down a Sun Petal Grove. You just don't have one of those. I mean, you've got 3 of them, but not 4 of them. And you're wondering what you should put in your deck. And you're wondering, oh, I don't know if I can play 2 of these cats. So basically, what we're doing is putting into question what we might want to fill probably 1 land slot and a couple cards with. One thing to point out is you do get a settings both for limited and standard. So when you flip it into standard, it has a much better understanding of the right number of lands and things like that. So let me run that again. Come right back. Okay, plays through that. Came back, and don't take this as the final answer. This is just an example of how you might brew, how you might tweak your lands. So once again, I hope you like the project. I've shown you how to go about your sealed pool, or maybe your draft decks that you bring home, and check your mana math, check your curve, and I've showed you how to grab maybe a top 8 or a budget deck, net deck, and start to make it yours. Because once you start to make a change, you really need to recheck your curve. You really need to check your mana base again, and that's what MTG X-Ray is bringing you in a new way. I hope you can go forward and brew with fun, brew with confidence. Thanks again for your time.